It is Monday afternoon, November the 30th, the last day of November 2020. While we talk here, while we connect here in this pastor's chat, in the comfort of this structure, the wind is howling and the rain is swirling. The weather is raging. I can't help but think there have been years where the 30th of November would have been a massive snowstorm. And this is the kind of rain, the kind of precipitation that would have made it 3 feet deep. I'm really glad to be inside. It's warm in here. I hope it's warm where you are. I'm glad for umbrellas that are strong enough in the wind today. Anyway, it's good to be back. I'll turn my music down just a little bit. The last time that I joined you for a chat at 2 o'clock in the afternoon was Wednesday before Thanksgiving. And so much time has gone on since then. So much of living has taken place in 4 days. So I'm glad to be back with you. I'm glad to be here for the pastor's chat. Come on in, have a seat. You're welcome here. So today, the first in the beginning of days of Advent, of preparation for the Christmas season, for one of the great festivals of the church, celebration of the birth of Jesus. Bear with me for just one moment. There's so much going on around here with the wind and the weather outside. The Christmas tree outside blew over, and I just want to make sure that we're fine. So I thought during these chats going into Christmas, it might be good to just have a little conversation about the temptation is here during this Advent season and Christmas season to do one of two things, I think. Maybe it's one of 20 things, but to maybe adopt an attitude or a feeling that, we'll just pretend and everything will be fine. And I don't feel it, I don't like it, but I'll go along with whatever. The other alternative is kind of like the Scrooge point of view, to say, I don't know what this is all about and why we have to go through this. This time of year is no different than any other time of year. And it's all commercialized. You hear a lot of the complaints about the commercialization of Christmas. I don't know, maybe it's the stage of my life, but I just don't feel anymore that there's a lot of wisdom in looking around in our life and just adopting the status of the old crow or the young crow sitting in the tree and just dismissing everything that means so much to some people. There's an element in all of this which a pastor listens to and tries to understand why so many different things are so important to so many different people. This is a time when traditions become really important to some people. This is a time where the memories of those griefs that have been observed become really focused. Christmas can be one of the saddest times of the year. And in the world we live in, there's just not a lot, like you won't see a Christmas commercial for tombstone decorations and listen to the first-person narratives of people who are talking about what a very difficult time of year this is and the anniversary of a loss, and that advertising for a company that will make grave wreaths for you, or someone that will put new engravings on a tombstone for someone that you've lost. It's just not going to happen. It's not part of the public persona of the season. In this congregation, you'll see as we approach closer, we have joined in with other congregations that on December 21st, which is the longest night of the year, it comes right smack in the middle of Advent season and just before Christmas, and it's the winter solstice. There are worldwide religions of human beings who have seen that longest night as the day of the diminished light to be marked. It's the festival of the moon. It has all kinds of mystery associated with it. But typical of Christians, what we do is we take holidays and we claim them for ourselves. We've always done that. Christmas itself, December 25th, you know this, right? December 25th is in nowhere, anywhere, ever recorded as the date of Jesus' birth. It doesn't say that on his birth certificate. December 25th was in the Roman Empire. It was the festival for the emperor. It was the celebration of Caesar's birthday. And it's a little bit like when the Roman Catholic Church chooses a pope. The Pope's real name doesn't really matter anymore. The Pope's name is his Pope name. And so in the Roman government, the emperor, who was God, who was like all-powerful, when the emperor became emperor, his birthday was moved to December 25th. It had to do with the cycles of the sun and the cycles of the moon. It was a day of the sun. So, Caesar's birthday was celebrated on December 25th. In the early history of Christianity, there was an amazing event that took place. Some think for the better, some for the worse. There's the yawn. I've been fighting it for several minutes. But Caesar, who was Caesar, I don't know if it was Caesar Augustus, I'm not sure which Caesar it was, but Caesar got married. And when he married someone, the woman that he was married to, or whether she converted afterwards, I'm not clear, I haven't looked at it recently, but the point is, Caesar found himself married to a Christian woman. And when that happened, the decree came out that Rome was now a Christian nation. It wasn't done through Bible studies and personal conversations. It was an edict of the emperor. Everyone in this empire now is officially a Christian, a follower of Christ. And I think it was 325. So it was a while after the time of Jesus. It was a great relief for Christians at the time because now they were no longer being persecuted, but Christianity became the official religion of Rome. And if you were a Roman citizen, you were a Christian. That's all there was to it. And so Christianity blew up in terms of adherence. But in Christianity, it didn't seem right to have this divine worship of Caesar. And so instead, they moved the holiday. The holiday of December 25th, instead of being the birthday of Caesar, became the birthday of Jesus. That's a fact. That's how it came about. In the biblical references, you'll see, if you look carefully, I try to teach my students of the Bible to read carefully and watch out for assumptions that wash over a text. You know from the Christmas readings that it says in Luke that while the shepherds were out at night, they were watching their flocks at night, the angel of the Lord appeared. What Luke is saying is, in the summertime, Jesus was born in the summer, because the latitude lines between Israel, Bethlehem, and the Holy Lands, and New Jersey, it's about the same latitudes, which means it has about the same weather. It has the same cycles of the sun. Winter is at the same time. It's not like when you go south of the border and summer and winter are reversed. When the shepherds were out in their fields at night, they only stayed in their fields at night when the grass was green and the sheep could graze and they didn't have to walk back to the sheepfold. The closest clue we have was that Jesus was born in the summertime, not December 25th. It's all right. It's okay. It's a good time to celebrate Jesus' birth, but with some information. So I got into all that because I said that Christians, notoriously Christians, they adopt other festivals and they say, oh, we see some meaning from our faith in that. Let's take that festival. Let's take that. Let's make that Christian. And so we're kind of doing that again with winter solstice. The longest night service on December 21st, is a great time to acknowledge the unspoken and undescribed underbelly, if you will, of the Christmas season. For many, many people, it is a reminder of very happy times, yes. But the present experience that they have is one of really painful loss. Divorces, death of children, diseases that were lived out for a long time and destroyed Christmas. Arguments that broke out in a family that caused a rift so that people can no longer get together. The top side of Christmas and Advent and all the beauty is wonderful. And if you have it, thank God for it. If you're in a relationship that's working and your kids like you and things are going well, Christmas is fabulous. You buy gifts, they say thank you, and everything works so well, right? And most of us have had the experience of that happening in our lives at one time or another. Some still do. But there is a massive community of people for whom Christmas is a reminder, it's an anniversary of loss. And where do they go? Well, one place they go to is the pastor's office. It's true. You come, you sit, you talk with the pastor. Because grief is a terrible enemy of us. It's natural, but what it does is it isolates us. You think a pandemic is brutal to functioning. It is, because in order to survive it, we have to isolate. Grief is like that too, only grief isolates you to your own demise. Grief locks you in a chamber, all of your own. And you think to yourself, how can I ever tell anybody how I lay awake at night and I cry? And I grieve for days gone by, and I miss my wife, I miss my friend. I think about the loss that I'm experiencing, and I feel terrible, and I can't go to a Christmas party and talk about that because what a downer. Nobody wants to be a downer in the season of happiness and joy. So in the time in which we live, the best elements of our Christian faith are creating ministries that are more honest. Yes, we have Christmas Eve services. I don't know, is there anything when everything else is right, is there anything more beautiful than a candlelight service on a dark Christmas Eve, where there's might even be some snow falling outside and the air is crisp, and you're sitting next to someone, or you're with someone that you just feel so grateful to be with, and there's nothing better than that, right? Think about your whole life. That's it. That's why Christmas Eve is so wonderful. And if someone can sing Silent Night, it doesn't even matter if they're good at it. A kid singing it's even better yet. Just bring all the joy and the happiness and bring it right into us. Nothing wrong with that. But that's just not what happens all the time. That's not what happens. Life brings along things. We live significant periods of our lives not being that smiling, happy family that appears in all the television commercials when they're unwrapping presents and everyone's happy with what you got. Because you did the right shopping. That's what a pastor's chat is. It's what a pastor's office is. It's what a pastor is open. We think about the Catholic priest as the little confessional, right? Where you can go in and there's a veil and you can say, I have to confess, that I've been involved in some things that I really don't feel good about, and please help me to find forgiveness. Well, I'm expanding the confessional booth beyond that. And this is a place in my ministry as a pastor where you can come and you can talk. And you can say, I feel terrible about it, but I don't like Christmas. I don't want Christmas anymore. I don't want the reminders of my family that are gone. I don't want the reminders that at one time I had a really good job and I don't now, and I can't provide for my family. I can't buy gifts. The longest night service, December 25th, we'll do a live stream here. There'll be some beautiful music. But it won't be a Christmas service. It'll be a longest night service. Because some people, maybe you, are walking in the dark, trying to find your way, when others are celebrating and reminiscing and having parties and feeling parties. You may need to bear witness to the fact, but that's just not happening for you. And that's okay. Because you see, that's the truth. And Christianity has been notorious in grabbing up festivals and saying, oh, this is our festival. Some of that's good, some of it's not so good. But this one I think is really good as long as we take it in the right way. We need rituals. We need places and times where we can visit the truth about grief. It doesn't go away in 3 days or 5 days or even 1 year. It doesn't. It's woven into the fabric of who we are. Nurturing it, not isolating ourselves. Realizing, discovering, if you didn't know it, that there are just a tremendous number of people who are white-knuckling it through this season. The antidote, the vaccine, if you will, is honesty in confession. Talking about how you feel, especially with someone who isn't surprised. And finding someone who feels the same way. Creating new Advent memories. Creating new community. Grief reminds us that we're alone. And it's not wrong, and we know that. But a well-attended to grief is brought out into the open in conversations and in community. And grief moves us then in its healthy progression into new community. It's not as if the loss didn't happen. It's not as if you're not sad, but You have someone to cry with. You have someone who gets it. You don't have to say a word because they look at you and you look at them and you both know. You know what you're thinking about. As a pastor, I have this experience sometimes during Christmas. It might be the Christmas Eve service as people make their way in. Some people that I haven't in the past made their way in, that will be happening this year. And as they come in and I look at them, I haven't seen them since the funeral. I haven't seen them since their mom's funeral. Sometimes 9 months, sometimes 2 years ago. I haven't seen them since their daughter committed suicide. I haven't seen them since their son died of some strange disease. And yet, in the reconnecting through Christmas, those are people who want to experience joy. They want to be happy. They want to see beauty again. They're sometimes locked away. They're very worried that during the singing of Silent Night, they're going to burst out loud and cry. The longest night service is for that cry. It's that place. We won't do Christmas songs. We will do songs like Simon and Garfunkel's Bridge Over Troubled Water. We'll read some poetry about a grief and some poetry about loss. There will be beautiful music, and it'll be dark, even in the background of what we do. But we're claiming this season, just claiming it for the integrity of the Christian faith. There's an awful lot to really legitimate living. It involves gift giving. It involves thinking of someone else and thinking of finding something that means something to them. It's all there. We just have to wrestle with it and make it as close to what our faith really claims. So it's November 30th. Tomorrow's December 1st. It's time to start opening the flaps on your Advent calendars. Find that little piece of chocolate or whatever the prize is that's in there. We're going to do these 25 days. We're going to do like an Advent calendar pastor's chat. We're going to open on every day of Advent. We're going to open a new little theme that relates to Advent, that helps us to bear witness to the truth of what's going on in our lives. And through it all, in a weird way, I get it. I'm here by myself, but especially for those of you that communicate to me pretty regularly, we're going to be together. We're going to be together for these next 25 days and take our movement forward together. I'm looking forward to it, and I'm looking forward to more days of these chats and conversations together. God bless you, my friends, and I will see you tomorrow on Tuesday for just another session of sitting and chatting with the pastor. Don't forget, you can communicate to me directly. You can send me an email at revlouie, REVLOUIE at AOL.com, REVLOUIE at AOL.com. Questions, comments, things you want to get off your chest, send them to me. I will talk. If it's something you don't want to share, I will talk about it online. Welcome me in as your pastor, and I look forward to responding to you and reminding you that you're not alone. God bless you, my friends. I'll see you tomorrow.